We are continuing now with Psalm 97. The Lord is King. Let the earth exult. The many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around him. Righteousness and justice are the base of his throne. Fire is his vanguard, burning his foes on every side. His lightnings light up the world. The earth is convulsed at the sight. Mountains melt like wax at the Lord's presence, at the presence of the Lord of all the earth. The heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all people see his glory. All who worship images, who vaunt their idols, are dismayed. All divine beings bow down to him. Zion, hearing it, rejoices. The towns of Judah exult because of your judgments, O Lord. For you, Lord, are supreme over all the earth. You are exalted high above all divine beings. O you who love the Lord, hate evil. He guards the lives of his loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in the Lord and acclaim his holy name. In the book of Exodus, we have a description of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, which was the portable site of the holy ark, the Aron Kodesh, and the place where sacrifices were offered as the Israelites wandered throughout the desert. And we also have a description of a cloud that would hang over the tabernacle, as well as a pillar of fire by night. These natural symbols, the cloud and the fire, were meant to make us think of or imagine the actual presence of God resting upon and infusing the tabernacle. So whenever that cloud would lift from above the tabernacle, the Israelites would be instructed to pack up their belongings and move on to the next place. Whenever the cloud would rest upon the tabernacle, that would be a sign that they were to stop wherever they were and stay there as long as the cloud remained there and the pillar of fire by night. So all these are kind of a symbol of God's presence and God's miraculous intervention in the world of nature. And here in this psalm, we have a description of God on God's throne as king, where dense clouds are around him. So now we're shifting from the image of the tabernacle to the image of the heavenly sovereign sitting upon God's throne with the clouds around him in order to create a sense of mystery, of God's transcendence, as well as the fire as his vanguard. Eish lefanav telech, fire going before him, burning his foes on every side. So anyone or any being or any person that would try to challenge or oppose God would be vanquished by fire. So you have all of these awesome images here of the fire symbolizing God's power and the cloud symbolizing God's mystery. But then we also have a focus on a moral direction here, a moral basis of this whole psalm, indeed, of all of Jewish theology, especially in the Bible. And that is, righteousness and justice are the base of his throne. So notwithstanding all the cloud, the mystery, the fire, the strength, the power, you have the moral ideas of tzedek and mishpat. Righteousness and justice are the base of his throne. Indeed, the words righteousness and justice appear several times in this psalm, indicating that that is where the emphasis lies. on God's righteousness and justice. When I think of these two terms, tzedek and mishpat, I think of tzedek, or righteousness, as the moral fiber of a human being that would inspire him or her to behave righteously, to do what is right, to be good to one another, to fellow human beings, to avoid harming anyone or causing destruction. And so we have this idea of righteousness as something that is possible for every human being. In fact, all of us need to try to live that way and aspire to it. Whereas justice is something that carries some measure of authority. That is to say, that the judge or whoever administers justice needs to act according to the principles of righteousness. The judge must act justly. And as we have in the book of Deuteronomy, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice pursue, which has been understood by commentaries to mean that if you want to pursue justice, you need to do that justly. You cannot achieve just ends by using unjust means. So justice is something that judges do, or that people in authority do. A parent might administer justice towards his or her child, a teacher towards his or her students. Justice is something that a person in authority would carry out, but it needs to be done according to the principles of righteousness. And that is why I think the psalm shifts from the emphasis on God's justice and righteousness to those same qualities in human beings. Near the end of the psalm, we have a reminder. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in the Lord, acclaim his holy name. In other words, an address towards people, towards all of us, to live righteously and to practice righteousness. And if that happens, we will bathe in the light and the radiance of God's holy presence. God, being exalted high above all human beings, is still understood as the ultimate and infinite moral source of all that is good and all that is right and all that is in opposition to evil and wickedness. And so, since it is our job to try to imitate God and to be godlike as much as we can, it is therefore our job and our task to practice justice and righteousness in our lives each and every day. This is something that is not only possible, but it is something that is obligatory, it is mandatory, and especially in today's world, in today's day and age, when there is so much confusion and so much darkness and despair around us. It is our role to remember that not only is it possible for us to be good, but we are required to be good and caring and loving towards one another, to practice compassion, empathy, and righteousness, and to do so in the spirit of living according to God's commandments and walking in God's ways. Thank you.